Thank you for joining our webinar today. We've got an information-packed session designed specifically for state and local government agencies, introducing you to how Microsoft's latest Planner, Project, and Copilot solutions can help you drive better project management. Let's get started. My name is Annie Levand, and I'm with a Microsoft Gold partner called PROJILITY. We've been implementing Microsoft project and portfolio management solutions, developing enterprise-level applications for over 19 years for large enterprises, including everything from engineering, construction, IT, and new product development. PMOs and CIOs typically come to us when they can't easily explain what's going on across all their projects. They don't know what resources are working on what work, and they have a hard time getting consistent reports and metrics to make project-based decisions. We're known for having a 90% on time, on budget track record for successfully implementing these solutions for clients. We offer services and solutions in three core areas. Deployment and consulting services, Fragility's core business. We provide professional services for successfully planning and implementing Microsoft Project Portfolio Management, including Microsoft Project Online, Project for the Web Soon-to-Be Planner, integrating PPM with a line of business applications, and delivering strategic portfolio management solutions to support top-level management planning. Fragility also offers a set of Hammerhead pre-built software and solutions and accelerators based upon 19 years of experience, including a set of Hammerhead products that provide improved access to your cloud PPM data, accelerate access to visual reports and dashboards using Power BI, connect data between your PPM system with Microsoft Teams, and extend connectivity into Active Directory to improve visibility, insight, and control over your work, people, and projects. New to our offerings is Hammerhead Power Pro, which is a pre-built solution crafted on the foundation of the Microsoft Power Platform and Project for the Web, along with the new Planner. This offering is designed to help bring some of our lessons learned on this platform to your organization. Finally, Fragility provides post-implementation support services, including expert care, designed to assist your PMO gaining on-demand expertise on the solution supported. We have a full online automated e-learning offering that can improve consistency and adoption for your users of your project management tools. You can learn more about all of our services and solutions on our recently updated website, PROJILITY.com. For the agenda, we'll start with Rob Hirschman from PROJILITY, who will walk us through some of the key project management challenges facing agencies today. He'll also introduce you to the Microsoft platform for project and work management, including sharing some exciting new changes coming to your environment. We'll then hand the floor off to a special guest, Jason Jackson from Microsoft, who will provide a tour of Microsoft's artificial intelligence platform, Copilot, to show you what it can do to make your life easier and better. We'll then go into a demonstration of how the Microsoft project and work management technologies, along with Copilot, can stream some of your project management tasks and workflows that are highly manual and time-consuming today. That will be followed by an overview of licensing and availability of these technologies in the government community cloud tenants. We'll close out with some time for you to ask your questions from the presenters and then provide some actual ways for you to engage with our team. We've got an action-packed hour for you, so let's get started. Our first speaker is Rob Hirschman at PROJILITY. Rob's been working in project management solution space since the late 1990s, having partners with PMOs and enterprises to assist with automating their most pressing challenges and processes. These range from simple project automation solutions to highly complex environments, including multiple integration points. He has deep expertise working with state, local, and federal government agencies to address these needs, understanding some of the unique challenges of the government environment. A fun fact about Rob, he plays drums in a rock group on the weekends. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Annie, and thanks for everybody for joining today. So we're really going to get into some of the key project management challenges we see in the market today, and then jump into some background on the Microsoft technology and how it's relevant. Then we're going to hand the floor off to Jason, as Annie mentioned. But if we look at what challenges most organizations are facing today as it relates to successfully planning, delivering, managing, and reporting on their projects, there's generally fall into 5 or 6 different buckets. The first of those is scope creep. This generally occurs when a project's scope expands beyond its original objectives. It's often due to changing client requirements, poor initial planning. There's lots of things that lead to scope creep, and that is one of the key challenges around project management that we find a lot of organizations have. The second one, seems obvious sometimes, is poorly defined or not defined goals. Without these clear goals and objectives, it makes it very hard for projects to have any kind of direction. Leads a lot to confusion, it leads to misalignment, leads to people just not knowing what they're doing, but more importantly, why they're doing those things. A lot of projects get started without really having a core business need in mind. And then they hang out there for a long time and people wonder, why did we do this project in the first place? So defining solid goals for projects up front is a really critical point of the third one really has to do with adherence to budget and challenging budget constraints. And always, whenever we're working on a project, staying within the budget is always a constant struggle, especially when unexpected changes arise, costs arise, technology changes. A lot of things can happen, and we have challenges sticking to that budget. So we want to be able to track and manage information related to that budget as it relates to our projects. One of the biggest challenges we run into and we see for most of our enterprise clients is the bottom left, resource allocation. Organizations have a finite pool of resources and they've got lots of work, and they really have to be able to in real time make really good solid decisions on what's most important to the business and what resources they're going to leverage, because you've got few people, lots of work out there. So really ensuring that you have the right resources and they're available at the right time can be very difficult, and not having that visibility can lead to delays, overworked team members, or things that can come from that. The fifth area, and this is one of the key ones we see a lot of day to day, is really communication and collaboration issues. A lot of times, basic miscommunication or just lack of communication on projects leads to misunderstanding. It leads to problems. It leads to errors and issues on projects. It raises very large risks on projects. And you often see a conflict between team members when they're just not communicating in a common format, common information. So communication and collaboration is a big pain point. And the last one, the sixth one we see as a key product management challenge that most of the enterprises we work with have is risk management. Having the ability to identify, triage, and mitigate risks early on is so critical to project management. A lot of people would argue that project management really is risk management. It's managing the risks associated with delivering on some specific set of activities or projects. But this is often overlooked, and it leads to much bigger problems down the line. So if we look at it, these are some of the business challenges that are out there we're seeing come from IT groups, PMOs, and organizations, and a lot of agencies that are looking to really improve on project management. So generally speaking, state and local government agencies address these challenges by implementing three core capabilities. First, they take a look at the organizational structure and determine what people they have, how these people are organized, trained, and managed. And this often leads to a move to implementing a centralized or IT-specific PMO or project management office, which is generally responsible for owning things like project delivery and the personnel related to it. These can range from what we call administrative PMOs, which simply assist project managers and leaders in the business, provide guidance and basic tools to them. Or you could have a full-blown IT or enterprise PMO, which owns project managers, overall guidance, governance, reporting, and the technology related to it. The first thing is always to take a look at the people side of the equation and understand what people do we have, and do we have the right people in the right roles, and is the organization set up in a way that's conducive to successfully delivering on projects. Next, there's always going to be a need to have a clearly well-defined, well-communicated set of project management processes and procedures that explain the how projects are delivered, how they're tracked, and how they're measured. This can range again from a very basic framework, set of documents, to a full-blown automated process that takes projects and project teams through intake, demand controls, detailed budgeting and planning, through execution management, tracking, and reporting. It can also be the establishment of specific performance metrics in order to both measure the progress and to set the management expectations with the business around scope, goals, resources, budget, and risk management. So you see, by putting good processes in place, you can start to address those specific challenges we talked to. Process is really the central tenet of success for most organizations that are really serious about delivering on projects successfully. This would also include training individuals in different roles who own activities in and across projects. It starts by enabling this capability to do both, and you have to have a basic process in place to do any kind of portfolio management or any accurate resource management as well, which is another one of those key challenges. Finally, there is the technology side of things. And this is where the organization decides what tool or tools it will be utilizing to support the people, the organization, and the process it's putting in place. In many cases, there's limited expertise around the processes. So agencies a lot of times begin looking for what a project and work management tool can provide, and then they begin to wrap their processes around how these tools operate. Project management technology has come a long way since its humble beginnings in the 1980s with desktop scheduling tools like Microsoft Project, to the emergence of collaborative, centralized enterprise project management tools in the early 2000s, to today, we have a fully integrated web-based technology set that range from simple and business projects to more complete support for large projects and transformation projects and programs as a whole. So we have different things we want to focus on when we talk about addressing those challenges. And today, in the rest of our presentation, we're really going to focus on the technology side of this equation. Understand the other two tenets are critical to delivery and success on your projects. So you're probably aware that Microsoft offers a slew of collaboration, work, and project management tools today. It's actually a little confusing too, if you go out to the Microsoft website. Today, we're going to focus on the ones that are best suited to helping an agency improve its project planning, delivery, measurement, and reporting. First, we have the traditional Planner tool. Most people are familiar with Planner. It is a visual task management tool that's available in Office 365 today. It comes with your Office 365 subscription, and there's over 15 million active users of Planner today. Planner is a really great tool when we talk about the work structure on the far right being very, very basic. Tasks and activities, no real formal structure to it, and we want to share that out in visual boards and get updates on task status. So we start with Planner as the first work management tool that Microsoft offers in Office 365. The next one is called Project for the Web. Project for the Web is a light project management tool, again, delivered as a service in Office 365, that's designed to support business or lighter IT projects. It is built on Microsoft's latest Power Platform, and that allows you to deploy more robust applications to meet specific organizational and PMO needs you might have. Project for the Web is a great fit for kind of low to moderate complexity projects, where you have projects with relationships and activities and dependencies and milestones you want to track, but you're not talking hundreds of activities. You're not talking detailed resource planning. You're not talking real kind of an analytical portfolio management. The third set of tools that's out there is Microsoft's traditional project management tools. That would be a combination of Project Professional on the desktop, which a lot of people have known again since the 90s, that has continued to emerge as the leading desktop tool, and the Project Online, which again is the online service in Office 365, really designed for enterprise project and portfolio management. That is based on a SharePoint foundation versus a Power Platform foundation. So a lot of this gets back to, what's the best fit for the group or individual? And the nice thing is we found that a lot of organizations have different needs. You may have folks in the business side, maybe in operations or marketing or HR, that need a lighter project management tool. That's where Planner or Project for the Web are a great fit. Or you might have organizations that have an IT PMO. That's where Project Online and Project Professional are a fit. Microsoft really offers a slew of different solutions because they know there's not a one size fits all around project management. There's different complexity, there's different requirements, there's different people and processes that are in place. And that's really the nice thing about these technologies is they're flexible and they're all available to you as subscription services. But there are some changes going on, and Microsoft announced these changes actually last year, and they've started to implement them as early, actually as lately as April of this year. What's happening is Planner and Project for Web at the top are actually being combined into a single integrated tool set. And this is where, if you read about the new Planner, which has a new color, instead of it being green, now it's purple and blue, the logo, there's really two flavors of this new version of Planner. You have your traditional Planner, which is the first bullet here, which is that task management engine. It's free with Office 365, your subscription. Then we have what's called Planner with premium functionality. This is the Project for the Web tool we mentioned before, which is really designed for business or what we call citizen project management, and that requires a different license. This solution, the new Planner, has been live in commercial tenants since April, so it's very, very new to market. The target release date on that, we'll talk about in a little bit, is later this year. So we're starting to see this targeted being rolled out actually before the end of the calendar year, which is soon. The interesting part about how Microsoft's rolling this out is they're making this initially available through Teams, through the Teams user interface, and following up later with the web user interface in Office 365. They found that so many people rely on Teams on a day-to-day basis, they're trying to enable project and work management tools through the tools people are already familiar and comfortable with. So this is a big change. This is coming to your Microsoft M365 suite very, very soon, and we wanted to make you aware of it and the relationship between the technologies that are in place today. But really, what are the impact of these changes? Well, the first of those, it means fewer tools for you and your IT group to manage and deploy. Instead of having 3 different technologies, we're down to 2. And one of those has 2 different flavors to it. The other nice thing is you can actually start with a basic planner plan and upgrade it into a premium one if that set of tasks grows into more of a project. So there's actual integration. These tools are actually designed to flow with a common set of processes within them. And that creates a more integrated experience for people that are using Microsoft Teams on a day-to-day basis and Office 365 on a day-to-day basis too. It's going to make their lives easier, and it's going to be part of their day-to-day workflow with the tools they already know and love. It also gives you the ability as an organization to choose the best fit for an individual team, for a group, for a department, or an entire organization. And again, you have the flexibility to pick one, the other, or multiple solutions based on what's the best fit for you and the business and the groups that you're focused on. So it gives you a lot of flexibility without having to leave Office 365. So you can do it all as subscription services, and we'll talk about the licenses in a little bit and how they do cross over here. Additionally, the data from these technologies, specifically Planner Premium and Project Online, is all available for reporting. So let's say you have a scenario where you've got people in the business that have their projects in the new Planner and they want to report on those. You can do that with Power BI. And you may have more complex projects that are over in Project Online, which you've had in place for a while. You can report on those in Power BI. We have some agencies that are actually merging these data sets and bring them together in integrated reports in Power BI as well. So the nice thing is the data is there and it's available. You don't have to extract it and put it in a database. It's all available through your Office 365 subscription. And this allows you to actually move forward without having a need to look at third-party providers for lighter project management tools. There's a whole slew of tools that have popped up over the last 5 to 10 years of all these web-based technologies that are out there. And once you get into them, it's hard to get out of them. They're hosted by individual providers. They may or may not integrate with your existing environment. The data can be in different places in different parts of the world. Again, with Microsoft, it's all in one place and it's all secure as part of 365. So it really limits that risk around that, and it gives you kind of a one-stop shop around project and work management needs. And finally, one of the things Jason's going to be picking up and talking about next with Microsoft is really the ability to natively leverage artificial intelligence technology and Copilot as it's happening. And these changes are happening as we speak right now. They're being applied into a lot of these environments. It's a great opportunity to start to automate a lot of these processes you have using AI and Copilot. If this is in your roadmap, if not, that's great too. But it's starting to having that part of Office 365 allows you to deploy Copilot in Office 365 and leverage these services integrated with those. And with that gives you a little bit of an overview, kind of the business challenges around project management, some of the ways you can address those, some of the technology we're going to be talking about. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hand it over to Jason Jackson from Microsoft. And he's going to be driving you through a presentation specifically around Microsoft Copilot and AI. Jason, floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Get this pulled up. And good afternoon, everybody. Definitely appreciate you joining. Look like that's sharing.
Yeah, we can see it, Jason.
You can see it. That's weird because it's not showing on mine. Very interesting. Let me try to reshare real quick because I'm not seeing it. Able to see it still?
Yeah, we can see it. It says 1 to 21 at the bottom too. Looks like there's a slide thing on the bottom.
That is so weird. It is not showing up on my side to where I can even control it.
You want me to share it out?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yep. Up for you.
I apologize for that.
No worries. Okay, here it comes.
Yep, I can see it now.
Can you see it now?
Yep. You want to expand it so I can go full view?
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's a PDF. So.
Oh, that's right.
Let me do this. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Okay. All good.
Okay. Yep, that'll work. And then you go ahead and move forward. Quick information about me. Jason Jackson, the Modern Work SSP in state and local government. Love traveling, love flag football, and love snowboarding. Of course, some inspirations on my children, and then just kind of just continue to bridge that gap for women. We'll keep going. So we'll talk a little bit about Copilot. We'll touch on GCC and kind of some of that, but I know we have some information for you around like singing availability with Rob and within the other deck, but this will be specific around that as well too. And then we'll talk about some reinventing your business. I'm not going to cover change management in this particular session, but there is some opportunities where I can touch on it a little bit. I know we have a limited time. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Next one. All right, so AI has already come into the workforce. Look, 75% of people are using AI today, whether it's from a consumer side of it or in the organization in some way, shape, form, or fashion. SaaS applications and things like that may have some sort of AI functionality built into them as well too. And so we're continuing to see that trend, and that's something that we're looking to talk about and just make sure that people are made aware of this as well too. And so as you get more familiar, as organizations feel more comfortable and it's on your roadmap, you'll start to kind of see that unfold a little bit more, and where we start to talk about how do we make sure we're improving in specific areas that allow us to be more productive as well too. Skip 2 slides on this one, Rob. So looking at Copilot for M365, what's the advantage and why has that been such a big buzz and a big thing going on when it comes to Microsoft and what we're doing? We want you to have that AI at your fingertips and as your assistant. It's integrated within the tools that most people are leveraging today within their organizations or even in your personal life as well too, with the Microsoft 365 apps. Also understanding the context or understanding your work context as well too. So given there's a lot of signals and things like that from the Microsoft graph that will that helps you get delivered personalized responses and things of that nature. Of course, extending your business data in order to better understand what your line of business applications have, being able to pull that information into what you're using as well too. Then you can also customize it and make it your own as well with Copilot Studio. So you can have specific co-pilots that are directly for you or direct for your organization itself as well too. For those that are within that have our M365 suite or some of our compliance and or security products, you have that enterprise grade security, privacy, and compliance. With the integrations that are within our platform, it inherits those security permissions as well too, and we leverage responsible AI. And then lastly, being able to measure that impact as well and the business value. We have different ways in which organizations can understand how not individuals, how the business is using and leveraging Copilot for M365. We also have a learning academy for you to have additional training and understand how to leverage it or do better prompting as well too, or like we say, maybe prompt engineering to get better results. Because the more the more curated it is and the more descriptive you are, the better the results are as well too. Next slide, Rob. Thank you. Kind of just putting this all into one, seeing it in a very, very digestible format in this case. You have a single destination for whether it's web and work or leveraging within your M365 apps, the graph, and then Copilot Studio as well. And that's all surrounded and surrounded by that security, privacy, and compliance within Microsoft. And so I'll touch a little bit more on that in this next slide, on how you can definitely trust Microsoft Copilot for M365 as well. It's going to honor those existing permissions from a security standpoint, is going to allow for that inheritance of DLP policies and labeling as well too. Of course, if there's risk-based conditional access and endpoint management that are in there as well too, all of that is going to come into play. Governance and compliance is a key thing. So some of you may have a type of AI council or board or something like that, in which you all are talking about how are we going to leverage AI? What ways are we going to leverage it? How are we also going to have it governed as well too? You're able to do that as well. So with knowing that this is all top of mind, we want to make sure organizations are prepared for Copilot for M365 and getting them ready for that as well too. And then lastly, privacy. Privacy is always a huge concern. It's your data, you control it. It's in your controlled location as well too. And for commercial tenant customers and things of that nature, there's that customer data protection element there for that web and that web-based access with Copilot as well too. Next slide. So what's the big deal about this as well, right? Think about it from two different lenses, from a personal productivity standpoint, and then also the alignment with your business process as well, in order to adopt and measure it. And I'll touch on personal productivity here in this next slide. Excellent. So here comes this new AI user, which is you all as you start to leverage AI. AI is continuously helping us save on time per day. that is it's very significant. It may not be realized from a tangible perspective overall, but it does make the workload a little bit more manageable. It at the same time, it boosts creativity. We've all have had challenges, I'm sure, trying to get started with the PowerPoint presentation or get started writing a document of some sorts. This is where AI can help. It can be that starter, that kickoff point to where it helps you get focused and makes sure the work that you're doing, that important work, get done a lot faster. And then also, let's make work a little bit more enjoyable. We hear about all these new things coming out, and it's like we want to take advantage of, but we also want to integrate it into our daily lives, which we spend time at work as well too. So how going to the next slide, how do power users use it differently? Well, it more than likely you're using it to analyze information, you're interacting with customers, you're designing different visuals, things like that. You're brainstorming as well to do some problem solving, or you're redesigning workflows and processes with AI. That's one thing with Copilot that's in Planner. That's where you're kind of redesigning some workflows with AI. And I'll also talk a little bit about some business processes in the coming slides right now. So looking at the business process, this is all about extending Copilot for M365 to, or making your own Copilot as well to ground Copilot in your business data. I'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide here in a moment with some of the Copilot connectors. Other ways to have it within the flow of your business as well too, with apps and different extensions that we also have as well. And then also building custom Copilots. Again, I talked about that briefly, where you can take something and create your own Copilot, leveraging Copilot Studio to have it interact with your business data, to have it produce information that is very important to you, and to limit the time that it takes for you to do some sort of research or anything like that that you're looking to do as well. So let's talk about how does it do work in the flow of your apps and work as well too with the business data. Looking at this, you can extend that data. You can get different answers in real time by querying on your business systems that you have, such as an ERP system or your CRM, or even your project management and data warehouses as well too. We have these different type of connections or connectors in order to help produce that. You can control that access by enforcing data permissions as well too, so everyone doesn't have access to the data just because it exists. Obviously we want to trust but verify as well too. And this allows you to be able to do that, but then it gets you closer to what you access from different systems on a day-to-day basis as well. It can leverage some of the internal systems like your system of record for databases, or even some of the custom internal applications also. Next slide. So looking at this from a workflow and app perspective, here are some of the Copilot extensions in this screenshot. May be slightly hard to see, but for those that may have some different connections or extensions like that, that's where you can connect it to these third-party applications, or even the custom built internal apps that you may have. Allows for controls for IT to curate available third-party extensions, and not everything has to be available as well too. And then being able to choose that focus point within there also. I know we leverage it today at Microsoft, of course, with Viva Goals that if you can see that on the screen, or even Designer as well too, to help us be creative and create a type of a logo or something like that from a fun type of aspect as well too. There's a lot of different ways that you can extend Copilot and connect it to different extensions in that case. But I think it's going to be a game changer as you start to understand how you can personally leverage it, and then from a business process, how the business can benefit from it as well too. Next slide. Looking at this last slide, and then I'll return it back over to Rob. Building custom Copilot extensions with Copilot Studio. I think this is going to be a good game changer. That we have some customers who have already gone through this process in our commercial space, and it's going to empower everyone to create different business processes and applications. You can get started right out of the box with 1,400 plus connectors that we do have, and it's centrally managed and secure as well too. And you have analytics on this information also. It's available. This is actually available right now in GC in our government community cloud customers. So it's something that you can speak with your Microsoft account team about and start to have some conversations on different ways it could be applicable, especially once Copilot is released for GCC as well. And Rob, I will turn that back over to you. And these are just some let's get started slides. For those that maybe have Unified, you can work with them or work with some other partners as well too.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. That's been really great. Absolutely. So that gives you some background on Copilot. So what we're going to do now is actually give you some specific examples, not only of the new Microsoft work and project management solutions, but how you could apply Copilot and AI into those environments. And those examples, there's really 3 different levels of examples we would typically go through. We're going to go through 2 or 3 of those today. The first one is basic work management, and it gives you the ability to track a basic list of tasks and work plan within a project, or start to look across projects and use an AI engine to help me report on status, keep management up to date, or I need to help schedule a task or change a milestone. These are things that typically in a project management world would take you as a project manager time, and it can save you that 30 minutes a day, that 10 hours a month, as well as accessing data for reporting and AI. The third use case down at the bottom, which is really about advanced portfolio management and project management, we're definitely going to get into in future sessions. We want to start really with the basics, the foundational project and work management tools. We'll show you those and some of the new ones today, and then we'll hop over into the Copilot component of it as well. So to do this, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to Office 365, just like you have today. It says, welcome to M365. I see all my documents. I go to my app launcher up here. And, the first place we're going to go, where most people go on a day-to-day basis to do their collaboration, is Microsoft Teams. Teams is the day-to-day collaboration and communication tool that most organizations are using. They're organizing their teams in different ways. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to leverage that new version of Planner. How I know it's here, and when this goes live in the GCC in the next couple weeks, you'll be able to see it. It's no longer a green P. It's actually this purple and blue set of check marks, and that's how I know I'm in the new Planner service. And the first view I'm going to see here, you'll see there are actually 3 different views here that are part of the new Planner. The first one says My Day, and that's going to help me organize any tasks or activities I have going on that relate to things I need to deliver, going across anything in Teams, whether it's a task, whether it's a due date, whether it's an email. It's all going to come into My Day. I have an area here called My Tasks, and this is fundamentally new. So what Microsoft did is when they released this new version of Planner, they combined 3 different technologies to do this. They combined something called To Do, if you remember To Do, which was basically a big to-do list on steroids. They combined Planner, and they combined that project for the web as the premium. What they did is they combined these into something called Assign to Me. So now My Tasks is an area of the single Planner app where anything I'm working on, my tasks, my Planner plans, my Planner premium plans, all the plans and tasks I have are in one place in this area called Assign to Me. And you can see I've got maybe an agile project, a marketing project, maybe I've got tasks and activities that somebody has assigned me. It brings them all together into one assignment engine, which is really nice. I can look at emails, I can make private tasks, I can look at them all. And by going into this, I can click on specific tasks I'm responsible for so I can see what's due today, tomorrow, the next day. So Assign to Me is a huge change, and that's now part of this integrated new Planner experience in Teams. The third area is My Plans. So these would be any plans that have been developed either in the traditional Planner or the new Planner Premium. They're all going to show up in one place. And I can see, for instance, I can go into any of these and click right down into those right from here. So what I'm going to do in My Plans, I'm going to go to this marketing campaign planning plan that I have. And you'll see here, I'm actually working in that premium version of the plan. How I know that is I've got different tabs up here for this particular project. So maybe I'm the project manager. I'm in the marketing campaign planning. And now I want to go and I will look at a grid of all the data. And now I can see any tasks, any dates, any percent complete, and I can go and I can update these in real time purely through the Teams interface. And that's going to update the rest of the plan. So I have this. I can also go and filter this and show me just stuff that's late or that's due next week or it's in the future, or I can start to look at buckets and labels, and we'll talk about that. But it's basically taking the basic version of Planner and making it into a project management and project scheduling tool. There is a board view, and the board view is going to allow me to, in a Kanban board, take activities and tasks and drag them over, but then I can create different groups and filters and buckets here. So I can see work, maybe it's assigned to priority, low, medium, high. Or maybe I want to group it by who it's assigned to, Josh's work and Sarah's work and Sunny's work. Or maybe I want to look at it maybe by goals. As we set organizational goals, again, we talked about that being a challenge. If I wanted to increase the capture rate from our website, complete our architectural design, I've got tasks that map into organizational goals, and I can drag and drop those and make sure we're delivering tasks that actually deliver value to our business and our projects. There is also a traditional timeline or a Gantt chart. And if we kind of zoom this over here, you'll start to see this is the Gantt chart for the project. Again, it's really taking the best of Microsoft Project and building it into Planner, but making it really easy and simple. For instance, if I'm working on task 69, establishing target dates, and I see that's going to drag out a couple of days, I can drag it over a little bit, and all the tasks related to it are going to move over. Or if I want to do a quick update to that task and say I'm halfway done with it, I click on it, and now I can come in here and say I'm halfway done. And by the way, let's put that in a specific bucket. Let's put that in CMO approval. You can make these changes in real time, and it's actually going to keep the history of all these changes. So I can very quickly and easily, as a business person, come in, plan, track, and manage my projects. There are charts here, and charts are going to show us things like how many tasks I have left, how many tasks are late on this plan, the tasks that are in different buckets, and then maybe the effort, how much work is assigned to different people I have assigned to tasks and activities, which gets us to the people area here. People is going to organizing a Kanban board, the tasks and activities, and who they're assigned to. So if I were to create this tracking mechanism, I want to assign it to Josh. Again, I can have tasks that I create, and I drag and drop them over to different people. They are now assigned to those tasks and activities, and then they would be able to come into this board and just update their tasks and activities and also get notified. And then these tasks and activities are going to show up in my tasks. So these things are all very tightly tied together. And this is really part of that unified vision of collaborative work and project management. One of the nice things that they've built into the tool is the ability to set goals. So maybe you have 4 or 5 business goals that this project is going to help you achieve. One of those is finishing the foundational work on a project, completing architectural designs, increasing the capture rate, better throughput on our website, whatever they are. And we can go and we can add tasks here, or we can link in tasks, and we can link tasks in from our project and say there's actually 2 other tasks here that relate specifically to this goal. And now as I work through my project, I know how those tasks roll up to that goal. So you can think about goal setting as another part of this tool as part of the new Planner Premium. Finally, as I work on projects, I also want to be able to assign work to individuals. So what I can come in here and do is say, okay, I've got Josh and I've got Administrator and Sunny. They have different tasks they've been assigned. And now you can start to lay out how many hours you want to assign them if you want to. If you want to get to a granular level, maybe I want Josh working on this for 2 hours, this for 2 hours, and this for 2 hours. And then as he comes in and updates it, you'll see what his progress is. So it lets you do a very basic level of resource assignment and resource tracking. And again, that's going to update your project, the grid, the timeline, and the view here. So that's the basic new Planner Premium. Those tasks, again, will end up in my tasks. It's all unified into a Teams interface, which is really nice. But one of the great integration points here is Copilot. So what I can do is click on Copilot, and now Copilot comes up specific to the new planner. And what Copilot allows me to do is do a couple of different things. I can create information, build me a plan for a specific campaign. I can understand information, give me a status report for this plan. I can edit information, add a subtask to this, or I can start to ask specific questions. Why is something happening? Are there risks that are emerging? Why isn't something complete? Who owns something? And the nice thing is these prompts are all built in. And this is the basis of something called prompt engineering, if you've read about it with artificial intelligence. So what Microsoft has done is they're pre-building a Copilot for Planner, and then they're pre-building popular prompts. So as people enter prompts in, they're going to learn from that, and then they're going to roll those prompts out so it can be easier for you as a project manager to manage your information on a day-to-day basis. And I'll give you an example. For instance, if I wanted to get a status report on this, I'd say, give me a status report on this plan, Copilot. And now Copilot is going to go into what is called its large language model, which is pointing to different applications. In this case, it's very, very focused on the Planner app and the projects you have here. And for this particular plan, it's going to pull together a status report for me. I have to give it a couple of seconds here, and it's going through the data. It's going to try to communicate it, importantly, Jason talked about, in normal English, as I like to work as a normal business person. And now it's actually pulled this together, and I can see Copilot is telling me the plan is managed by this person. It started in October. It's finishing in August. The plan is 10% done, has a certain amount of effort, how much has been expended. Finally, it's going to tell me a little more about each phase and different tasks, and if they're on time or if they're late. I can say, well, that's really great. But, Copilot, show me a list of all late tasks in a table format. Now I not only want Copilot to do something, I want it to format that information so I can take that and communicate that to my management team. And so now Copilot is going to go, it's going to aggregate that data out of its large language model because it's looking at the data contained in Planner and Office 365. And now it's going to pull this over as it looks over the plan. Give it a second here. And this is how Copilot can help you. So instead of you having to go in and analyze 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different projects, it's going to help generate these kind of data points and reports eventually for you. And it says, here is a table. Oh boy, I've got a lot of late tasks. Here's a table of all the late tasks in the plan. It's going to show me the task name, the priority. Go back up to this. I have a lot of late tasks. The end date, percent complete, and the status of that. And it's pulling these all together that I can then copy and paste. And eventually this will be integrated directly with PowerPoint. And I can say, Copilot, generate a status report in a specific PowerPoint format with these pages of information. You can see Copilot right now is in preview in Planner. And these are initial prompts that Microsoft is releasing through its prompt engineering. And it's going to learn over time and release more and more prompts. But it's actually working in real time now against the data I have in this particular plan, which is really nice. I can also tell Copilot, if I come down here once this is done, to add a task to the plan, update the status. Again, it's really designed to be my AI assistant related to updating and managing my project. And this is really the power of having Planner and Copilot working together in Office 365. But what if I had a whole group of projects and I wanted to do better analysis across all of them? And that's where the beauty of this, the new Planner is built on something called the Microsoft Power Platform. So I can come out and I have built a Power App here specific to the new Planner, where it's aggregating all my projects in one place. And this is actually an app that we've built called Power Pro that actually has a structure in it around how a typical project management group or organization would work using that same data. So remember, we have a very simplified, easy project schedules. We're doing basic resource management, but maybe in this case, I want to aggregate all my projects in one place. And on those projects, I may want to capture other data or information. It's not always just about the schedule. I may want to have a stage gate governance workflow that takes me through initiation, approval, planning, execution, and closeout, and have different steps and stage gates. We're leveraging Power Platform for that. I may want to capture basic project metadata and information, a description of the project, the department, maybe the program it's a part of. Is there a strategic initiative this aligns to? What is the business impact? And then the tool is going to pull data from that underlying plan so I can look at things like start dates, finish dates, effort, percent complete. We even have a calculation here to show variances. Plus is bad, negative is good. So a positive variance is probably a bad thing. I'm 44 days off on my finish variance, how long it's going to take. My effort variance, I've got more work than I expected, but my cost is below, right? So I'm actually in a good space. I'm under budget, but I'm over schedule. That's what it's telling me. And then you can have different tabs of information. You could capture your business case information, business problem, proposed solution, benefits and outcomes. I can capture risks and have a risk log, an issue log, and a change log related to my project. So if you think about kind of putting procedures and processes in place for managing and governing projects, that's all going to be here in the tool. Additionally, you're going to be able to capture status snapshots. So not only what happened today and what's going on in my project, but what happened back in April. Mid-April, where were we on this project? It's going to actually create a snapshot that your project manager can fill in with health indicators, with context, with schedule health, issue health, details like accomplishments and upcoming and key decisions. It's all built into the tool. So this is really that second use case. I want a more aggregated experience. And then that set of tasks that are in the new planner, it's all here as well. It becomes part of a broader architecture around this specific project. Grid, board, timeline. You see, it's the same user interface built in here as well. And the nice thing about that is, again, we can report off that. So if we wanted to generate reports using Power BI, we could generate these in the core app. Let's log in here. And then now we can have portfolio reports, and we're going to be able to go AI against this as well. So maybe I want a portfolio dashboard that shows me all my projects. And then I can say, just show me the in progress ones. By the way, for this one here, this health assessment project, run me a status report. I need to provide something to my management team about what's going on in that particular project. Now it's pulling all the data there, right? We're using the power of the integrated Microsoft Office 365 suite with Power Apps, with Office 365, with Power BI, the new planner, all pulling this together. And then you can have reports on projects, on issues, on risks. Maybe look at the life cycle and show me every project that's maybe in approval right now or in business case definition. It can really map to putting processes in place. Or as I mentioned, you can kind of wrap some of your processes around this to get started, right? And it's a good way. These are kind of good practice processes that we've seen have worked for other people. But where does AI tie into this? Well, you see there's a little button here called Copilot, just like we have with the new planner. But this is more aggregated. And now some of the prompts that are here are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be things like, show me how many projects I have. So I may ask, how many active programs do I have? And then it's going to say, okay, well, I may have 5 or 6 projects, but what about at a program level? How many programs do we have? And it's working on it. Again, it's looking at the large language model. It's saying we have 4 active programs in total. Or I can say, how many active risks do we have across all projects? And Copilot does need to learn. These are basic prompts, but as you put more prompts in, as your users put more prompts in, then it's going to learn. That large language model is going to continue growing and learning, and the generative AI engine behind the scenes is going to get smarter and better at what it does. That's really the beauty of it. It's not just going to a search bar. It's actually you're asking business questions, getting business answers with an engine that's going to learn over time. And that's really the power of all these tools working together and being able to layer Copilot in specific to project management processes. Okay. So again, what we tried to do is show you kind of basic work and project management scenarios where you're managing a project, a set of tasks, you're trying to get information out of that, and then more basic cross-project management where you're able to use Copilot to manage multiple projects. You can use a Power App to manage multiple projects and use reporting from Power BI to get information and metrics across all these as well. So, with Copilot and the new planner, there are initial scenarios that Microsoft has been building against. They're not just leaving it a blank slate. And some of those scenarios you'll see on the left, creating and updating your plans and your schedules, right? Very useful, saves me a lot of time as a project manager. And they're trying to focus on really the top 5 or 10. Asking questions and getting answers, just like we showed you. We think there's going to be huge value for a project manager. Again, if they want to go in and pull the late tasks or show me everything assigned to Sunny or get me information about a specific set of tasks and activities, Copilot can give you that information without you having to sift through data. And projects can be filled with lots of data and content, and that's really the benefit here. Generating status emails, that's going to be another big one. And saying, hey, send a status email with status on this project out to these 5 people. That's something Microsoft is building a prompt against because they see value in that. Or finding context. Show me all the tasks related to marketing where Sunny is working on those that might be late right now. Giving you that context so you, again, don't have to dig through piles of data, saving you that 30 minutes a day. And this is all built on exactly what Jason mentioned before, Microsoft's comprehensive approach to artificial intelligence. Security, huge. Compliance, giving you privacy. But at the end of the day, your data is yours, and it's all contained in Office 365. Copilot is not going out into the web and pulling the data. It's just looking at your data unless you tell it otherwise. And finally, at the end of the day, it's all about responsible AI and artificial intelligence. Setting up an infrastructure, a set of rules and governance, so AI can be useful to your enterprise, and it's not a risk in any way. So these are some of the Copilot scenarios that are currently being worked, and you saw an example of some of them in preview now. But the big question is, when are you going to get this stuff? You're in the GCC, the government community cloud. You're on a little different schedule than commercial organizations. Well, kind of going down the list here, the first technology, Planner and Project for the Web, which is the initial technology we talked about, that's live today. You can use the traditional planner, you can use Project for the Web, you can use the Power App, and that's all available to you today. And that uses, licensing-wise on the right, either a Project and Planner Plan 1 or a Plan 3 license. So these may be licenses you already have access to that are going to enable you to access these services. You can do that today in the GCC. The new planner updates, the ones we just showed you, kind of with the blue and the purple check, those are targeted for release in Q4 of this year, which means really in the next 60 to 90 days, that's the current target for these being released, and it leverages the same license. So you could get started today with Project for the Web and Planner, and as soon as that migration happens, it's automatic. Everything is going to move over. You'll see some different naming conventions. You'll see the Teams integration light up, but your data stays in the same place. It's all safe and secure, and you don't even need to migrate anything. It's just going to light up in the environment. We have a lot of clients that are taking advantage of that. In terms of traditional project management and portfolio management, your Project Professional desktop client, as well as the Project Online service that's out there, that's live. It's been live in the GCC for 7 or 8 years. That leverages the Plan 1 license for team members, the Plan 3 license for project managers, and then the Plan 5 license, which is for the PMO, or resource, or portfolio manager. So that's a service that's been live for quite some time, and it's available to you today. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jason, who's going to wrap up with a little bit of talk about Copilot and the release cycle on that. Jason?
Yeah, go to the next slide real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Sweet. So this has been the burning question. When is Copilot for M365 coming to GCC? It is targeted and expected to be GA about mid-October next month, so not too far away. We are going to release this in waves, and so there and that's on it's designed like that, and that's what we've been communicated to about that. So wave one in October, you're going to have your primary functionality within the M365 apps. With Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook for mail and calendar, Teams chat and channel within Copilot, and intelligent recap, which will give you AI generated meeting notes. Wave two, that's expected to be March 2025. Teams meeting Copilot, so being able to interact during a meeting with Copilot at the same time. OneNote for those that leverage OneNote, Stream, and then Planner, which is what we've been talking about today. And I believe there was a question in the chat about that as well too. Copilot in Planner is expected in March of 2025. And then, of course, OneDrive for Business and Loop. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Loop is expected to go GA here pretty soon in GCC as well. So that's one thing to pay attention to also. And I'll go ahead. They believe we have access to the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this link in there for to the blog post for the Copilot for M365 for GCC. That way you can get some more details if you would like. Feel free to put any questions in the Q&A around that. Obviously, we are at that time now. We definitely appreciate you all attending this webinar as well. And Rob and Annie, thank you as well too for the fantastic job. And I'll turn it back to you, Rob.
Yep, over to Annie. So.
Well, great presentation, Rob and Jason. We'll now officially open the floor to questions and answers. Remember to enter your questions and answers at the top of your team screen. Let's see if there's any questions in the queue. Well, if there's no questions, I guess we can move on. If your team would like to get more information on these solutions, talk to us. We can offer everything from a target solution demonstration to assisting with helping you figure out what it would take to successfully deploy these solutions in your environment. We also offer hands-on cloud immersion experiences where you can test drive the latest Microsoft technology, as well as a set of project and planner knowledge day educational sessions to get your teams up to speed and maximize their use of the latest Microsoft project solutions. Reach out via email, info@PROJILITY.com, and we'll work together to set up time to discuss your areas of interest. Additionally, we also offer a pre-built solution called Hammerhead Power Pro based upon the new Planner and Power platform designed around the needs of most project-focused organizations. This includes workflows, reports, and dashboards, and an overall framework that can help you take some of the solutions discussed today for low to moderately complex projects and bring all these pieces together. Check it out on our website listed on this page, or reach out and we'll set up time to introduce you to the solution. Thank you again for joining our webinar today. Special thanks to Jason Jackson from Microsoft for his great presentation, helping us all better understand the Copilot platform and its possibilities. We appreciate your time and hope to connect with you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.